Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to bring you a battle between the two Kamigawa Neon Dynasty commander decks. Over here we have Buckle Up and over there we have Upgrades Unleashed. We're going to be playing a single 1v1 commander game and we'll go ahead and get started to determine first player by rolling off. Buckle Up rolls 6. Upgrades Unleashed rolls 6. We'll roll again. Upgrades Unleashed rolls 9. Buckle Up rolls 4. Upgrades Unleashed will opt to go first. Upgrades draws a Bone Horde, Forgotten Ancient, Mountain, Nissa Voice of Zendikar, Sword of Vengeance, Mountain, and Ox of Agonas. We have 2 mountains, but we don't have anything that we can cast early, and we can't cast many of the cards because they're green, and so we are going to mulligan and try to draw a better opening hand. Upgrades draws a Loyal Guardian, Gruul Turf, Forest, Invigorating Hot Spring, Goblin Raise Runners, Rhythm of the Wild, and Ulash the Hate Seed. We still don't have anything that we can play off these 2 lands. I think we can keep this mostly because Gruul Turf plus Forest means that we'll get to 3 mana to cast Invigorating Hot Spring and Rhythm of the Wild, but it's not a good hand. I think we're still going to have to keep this one. I don't know when we'll be able to cast the Goblin Raise Runners, so that's the one we'll put in the bottom of the deck. Buckle Up draws a Plains, a Plains, a Plains, a Sword Splashers, an Island, a Mobilizer Mech, and an Island. This is probably too many lands and not enough action. Even the Mobilizer Mech can't really attack, and so we are going to mulligan and try to draw a more functional hand. Now we have a Silvermere, Plains, Island, Plains, SRAM, Senior Edificer, Cyberdrive Awakener, and a Whirler Rogue. I think this is a much better early hand. I think we can just take the 6-drop and put that on the bottom. Upgrades will play a Forest, and we'll pass the turn. Buckle Up draws an Arkansas, and then we will play a Plains, and we'll pass the turn. Upgrades draws another Forest, and we will play the Gruul Turf. It's a land, it enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. You can have it for red and green. We'll bounce the Forest back to our hand, then we'll pass the turn. Buckle Up draws a Surge Hacker Mech, then we will play an Island. We'll tap both of these to cast the Silvermere. This is a 1/1 artifact mirror, and you can tap it for blue. Then we'll pass the turn. Upgrades draws a Rampant Rejuvenator. We'll play a Forest. We'll tap 3 mana, and we'll cast Rhythm of the Wild. This is enchantment. Creature spells you control can't be countered, and non-token creatures you control have Riot. And then we'll pass the turn. We draw an Island. We will play a Plains. We'll tap 4 and cast the Arkansas. This is a 3/3 artifact bird with flying. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment from among them and put it into your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We get a Organic Extinction, Azorius Signet, Teshar Ancestor's Apostle, and Raiders Carve. Since we are the Vehicles deck, let's go ahead and take the Raiders Carve, put it into our hand, and then we'll pass the turn. Upgrades draws a Beast Within. We'll play the Forest. We'll tap 4 and cast the Rampant Rejuvenator. This is a 0/0 Plant Hydra and enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is its power. Put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. We'll go ahead and give it a +1/+1 counter off its Riot trigger, making it a 3/3, and then we'll pass the turn. Buckle Up draws a Universal Surveillance. We'll play the Island. We'll swing with the Arkansas for 3. Upgrades takes 3 and goes to 37. We'll tap 2 and cast SRAM, Senior Edificer. This is a 2/2 Legendary Dwarf Art Advisor, and whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. Then we'll spend 3 and cast Raiders Carve. This is a 4/4 vehicle, and whenever it attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Crew for 3. Because it is a vehicle, SRAM will trigger and we'll draw a card. We draw a Prairie Stream, and then we will pass the turn. Upgrades draws a Tawashi Guide Bot. I think we're in an okay place to cast our commander, so we'll tap out and cast our commander. This is Chishiro the Shattered Blade. It's a 4/4 legendary snake samurai, and whenever an aura or an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with menace, and at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each modified creature you control. Because we have Rhythm of the Wild, we're going to give it a counter as well, making it a 5/5. We want to stay on the defensive so that the Rejuvenator can create a bunch of lands for us. And so we're going to end the turn here, and Chishiro will trigger, putting a counter on each of these, making the Rejuvenator a 4/4 and Chishiro a 6/6, and then we'll pass the turn. Buckle Up draws a Parhelion 2. We'll play the Prairie Stream. This is a Plains Island, and it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. We have to take advantage of the sky while we have it. So we will swing with the Arcanist for 3. Upgrades goes down to 34. Then we'll spend 4. Cast the Whirler Rogue. This is a 2/2 human rogue artificer. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying, and you can tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Target creature cannot be blocked this turn. I think that's it, so we will pass the turn here. Draw a forest. We'll play the forest. I think we just get our team quite huge is a good plan here, so we'll tap out. Cast the Loyal Guardian. This is a 4/4 Rhino with Trample. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you control your commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We'll again use the Rhythm of the Wild Riot ability to give it a +1/+1 counter. And then we're going to go to combat. We'll put a counter on each creature because we control our commander. So the Rampant Rejuvenator is a 5/5, Chishiro is a 7/7, and Loyal Guardian is a 6/6. They have enough power and toughness to trade with Chishiro, but I think we just wait long enough, we'll just outclass them with our creatures, and then be able to turn the game on their flyers, and so we'll pass the turn. And at the end of the turn, Chishiro will trigger, and we'll put a counter on each creature, making the Rejuvenator a 6/6, Chishiro a 8/8, and the Guardian a 7/7. We draw a Felwar Stone. I think we're just going to try to swing in the air again. In the meantime, we'll spend 2. Play the Felwar Stone. It's an artifact. You can tap to add 1 mana of any color a land an opponent controls would produce. So this is effectively just colorless mana for me. Well, I think we just get in with my flyers while we can. For 5, Unleash takes 5 and goes to 29. Let us also cast our commander before the turn. This is Kotori, Pilot Prodigy. This is a 2/4 legendary Moonfolk pilot. Vehicles you control have crew 2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact creature you control gains lifelink and vigilance until the end of turn. We will have made the Arcanist Owl get lifelink and vigilance, so this will untap and we'll get 3 more life, taking us up to 43, and then we'll pass the turn. Now we have Rishkar Pima Renegade. I think at this point it's starting to attack makes a lot of sense for my deck, especially the Rejuvenator is fine dying. We want to be able to play our creatures first though before we go and get into this. So let us spend 4 and cast Ulashed the Hate Seed. This is a 0/0 legendary Hellion Hydra, and it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other red creature you control, and a +1/+1 counter on it for each other green creature you control. For 1, remove +1/+1 counter from it to deal 1 damage to our creature, or create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. We have 3 green creatures and 1 red creature, so we'll enter with 4, plus the Rhythm of the Wild, so we'll enter with 5. We'll immediately tap the forest to take one of the counters off the Hate Seed to blow up one of the Thopters. Thopter dies. We'll go to combat and everything will get a counter. We'll just swing in with the Rampant Rejuvenator for 7 to see if they'll take a bite and trade. Buckle Up has gained some life, so I think we're okay taking 1 hit from that thing. So we'll take 7 and then go down to 36. And then upgrades will end the turn and get a counter on each creature. So we have a 6/6, an 8/8, a 10/10, and a 9/9. And then our turn ends. We draw a Research Thief. I think we go to combat with the 2 flyers again. So we'll swing with them. and then we'll give the Arcanist Owl the lifelink and vigilance. We'll also tap 5 mana before combat damage dealt, and cast Research Thief. This is a 3/3 artifact Moonfolk Wizard with flash and flying, and whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We have 2 artifact creatures that will be dealing combat damage. For 4 damage, 3 of it lifelink, so we'll gain 3 life to go up to 39. Upgrades will take 4 and go down to 25. And then we'll draw 2 cards for the 2 creatures that did combat damage. This is a Colossal Plow and a Soul Ring. We'll tap the land and cast the Soul Ring. This is an artifact. You have to add 2 colorless. We'll tap the Soul Ring for the 2 mana and cast the Colossal Plow. This is a 6/3 vehicle, and when it attacks, add 3 white and you gain 3 life. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end with Crew 6, and then we will draw off SRAM's ability, getting us an Imperial Recovery unit, and then we'll pass the turn. Now we draw a Bear Umbra. We'll spend 4 to cast the Tawashi Guidebot. This is a 2/1 artifact construct, and when it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. You pay 4, tap, draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each modified creature you control. We control 4. We'll go ahead and put the counter on itself, but we're going to give it haste with the Rhythm of the Wild so that we can immediately tap it to draw a card for free. And then we draw a Chaos Warp. We'll spend 1 to remove a counter from Ulash to remove the other Thopter. Thopter dies. We'll go to combat and put a counter on each creature. So we have a 6/6 Ulash, a 9/9 Rejuvenator, an 11/11 Chishiro, and a 10/10 Loyal Guardian. As before, I think we can just swing with the Rejuvenator. We'll be taking some damage on the backswing off the flyers, so we'll have to find some kind of removal for them. Well, we have it. We just need to deal with them first. We'll swing with the Rejuvenator for 9. Having lifelink on my flyers makes it it's not too bad to take 9. And we don't really want to trade our vehicles for that. So we'll just take the 9 for now and go down to 30. Upgrades will pass the turn. We'll draw a Vidalcan Engineer. I think we want to get rid of that card draw effect. So we'll spend 4 to cast the Surge Hacker mech. This is a 5/5 vehicle with menace. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to twice the number of vehicles you control to target creature or a planeswalker an opponent controls. We'll target the card draw creature. Don't think we can actually blow up anything else except for Ulash. Tawashi Guidebot is down. We'll crew the Colossal Plow with the Qatari Pilot Prodigy. Then we'll tap out the 2 other artifacts to make it unblockable. We'll go swinging with the Colossal Plow, giving it lifelink and vigilance, and the Arcanist Owl and the Research Thief for 12 damage, 6 of it getting lifelink. We'll gain 3 life plus 6 life, so that's 9 life, and we'll get 3 white that doesn't go away. So we'll get 9 life to go back up to 39. Upgrades takes 12 and goes to 13. We'll draw 3 cards off of the Research Thief's ability. We draw an Island, Command Tower, and Thoughtcast. We'll play the Command Tower. This is a land. You can tap it for 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. We also should have drawn off SRAM, so we should also have a Temple of Enlightenment. We have 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, so we'll tap out and use the 3 floating mana to cast the Parhelion 2. This is a 5/5 legendary vehicle with flying, first strike, and vigilance, and whenever it attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking. We'll draw another card off SRAM. It's a plains, and then we will pass the turn. Draw a Forgotten Ancient. I think we need to get rid of one of their flyers. We also need to do a lot of damage. So we will go to combat. Ulash gains a counter. Rapid Rejuvenator gets to 10. Chishiro gets to 8. And Loyal Guardian gets to 7. Cannot even do lethal at that rate because they have enough chump blockers. So I think I have to hold up our removal and just swing with the Rampant Rejuvenator for 10. As we saw before, we just keep gaining the life back, so we'll just take 10 and go to 29. And then we'll pass the turn. We draw a Peace Walker Colossus. We'll play an island. We'll tap 3 mana and cast the Peace Walker Colossus. This is a 6/6 vehicle, and for 1 and a white, another target artifact vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn, crew for 4. And we'll change the tapping here so that the planes stay untapped, the islands get tapped. This is important for our current plans for winning the game this turn. We'll also gain a card from the SRAM effect, giving us a Wrath Capuchin Ship's Mage. I think this should do it. We'll tap 4 mana, 2 of it being white, to make the Colossal Plow and the Parhelion 2 creatures. We'll tap the SRAM and the Kotori to make the Surge Hacker Mech and the Raiders Carve creatures. And then we'll move to combat. Before combat, upgrades will tap 3 mana and cast Beast Within, targeting the Parhelion. This is an instant destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Parhelion goes down. We get a 3/3 beast instead. We'll go to combat and swing with the Colossal Plow, the Raiders Carve, the Surge Hacker Mech, the Arcanist Owl, the Research Thief, and we will tap out the Peace Walker Colossus and the Silvermere to make the Colossal Plow unblockable. We'll reveal the top card for the Raiders Carve. It is not a land, it's a Foundry Inspector. And I think the math should work out so that if the Whirler Rogue attacks, we'll get lethal. There's 12 points of damage coming through that we can't do anything about. That is the Colossal Plow and the 2 flyers. And then on the ground we have the Raiders Carve, the Surge Hacker Mech, and the Whirler Rogue. We'll double block the Surge Hacker Mech with Chishire and Laura Guardian, and Utlash will block the Raiders Carve. We'll spend 2 mana to remove 2 counters from the Utlash to destroy the Whirler Rogue. And we'll take 12 damage to go to 1. The Raiders Carve and the Surge Hacker Mech go down, as well as the Whirler Rogue. We'll gain 9 life to go up to 38. And then with my last 3 mana, we'll spend 2 of it to cast the Vidalcan Engineer as a ground blocker. This is a 1/1 Vidalcan Artificer at tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. And then we'll pass the turn. We draw a Game Trail. For the Game Trail, it's a land. As it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a mountain or forest from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap for red or green. I'm just trying to determine if we have enough power and toughness to win on a single swing, because otherwise we're going to lose. Everything will gain a counter as we go into combat. Little Guardian, Chishiro, Rampant Rejuvenator, and Ulash. I guess before this, we should have tapped out and cast a Bear Umbra, and we'll target the Loyal Guardian. This is a aura chant creature. It gets +2/+2, and whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control and has totem armor. And then we'll go to combat and swing with everything. This will untap all of our lands. Well, this is 40 on the money. If we spend 1 mana to remove a counter from Utlash, we can take out the 1/1 Vidalcan Engineer. Vidalcan Engineer dies. And then we just have to get rid of the Beast token. And I think we can just do that by using Ulash's ability, because we have 38 damage here. So we spend 3 more mana to remove 3 counters from Ulash, make it a 2/2 to remove the Beast. Beast goes down, and that is 40 damage for Upgrades Unleashed to sneak in that victory at the very end there. What a dynamic battle. It looked like the advantage was to Buckle Up, but Buckle Up I think made too hasty of an attack and was a little too overconfident in its life gain to get it through, which left Upgrades winning by just the hair of 1 life. Wow, what a game. Let me know what you thought about the game in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.